My skin is a map written in pain. It is rivers of scars that flow through my veins. There are mountains of stretch marks etched across my belly and my thighs, monuments to the weight I once carried, a history of how much I used to hurt. I've always been a skinny girl with chicken legs and a heart-shaped face. A high school art teacher once told me I looked like a starving artist. Back then, being thin was something I wanted to be free of. I remember standing in front of the mirror in my underwear, pinching my fat, wishing for curves like those of the girls I saw in magazines, glossy pages filled with bodies like clay pots that held the beauty I wanted to be. I heard laughter, the clink of glasses, the slurp of spoons against rice, the voices growing distant. I was shaking. My body hurt. I kept thinking of the baby, wondering if he was okay. I remember thinking, what have I done? It seemed like a lifetime ago. And yet the pain still feels fresh in my chest. I gained weight, so much weight. I ballooned to 200 pounds. My entire body changed. It betrayed me. It expanded and split open. It didn't hold my shape. It was full of stretch marks. It was ugly. Stretch marks appeared on my breasts, stomach, thighs. I thought of my dad carrying me when I was a little girl. I thought of the baby I aborted. I learned that my body is a vessel, a container of experiences, good and bad. There's a landscape etched with memories. Some days it's hard to look at the scars that cover me. Some days I want to hide. Other days I am grateful. The more I learn to accept and love my body, the more I learn to love myself. I am no longer ashamed of my skin. It is a map written in pain, yes, but it's also a map that shows where I've been, where I've come from, and where I might go. It is a reminder of my strength. It is proof that I am alive. I thought of how my body was capable of creating life. I took a deep breath and touched my thigh. As I traced the lines there, I thought of my mom. When I was growing up, she would hug me so tight. I could feel the warmth of her body through my shirt. She smelled like frying garlic and sweet spaghetti sauce. I felt my body change during puberty. I felt my cheeks puff up with fat. I felt my breasts get heavy. I remembered feeling awkward and shy, unsure of what to do with this new body. I didn't even recognize myself in the mirror. I would stand there staring at my reflection, not understanding how I went from being so small to being so big. I hadn't wanted to do what I did, but I knew I had no other choice. My boyfriend and I took the train downtown. It was cold. His fingers wrapped around mine. He was squeezing them tightly, as if by doing so he could squeeze out all the fear that was inside of me. We waited in line for what felt like hours. I was shaking and cold. Then we entered a room. I lay down on a bed. It was cold and hard. The nurse put a blue paper on me and wiped me clean. She explained everything she was going to do. She was nice, patient, calm. My boyfriend stayed with me until it was done. Then I began crying. I ran to the bathroom, splashed water on my face, and calmed down before returning to the table. When my dad asked what was wrong, I shook my head, took his hand, and squeezed it. "It's nothing, Dad," I said, kissing his cheek. I wasn't ready to tell him that I was having an abortion. I was anorexic for 3 years. I stopped eating after my parents fought. One night they came home from dinner with Chinese food, and instead of eating it, they started screaming at each other. When things got really bad, I would run to the kitchen and fill up on sugar and salty snacks, wanting to numb my feelings. I tried to make myself throw up, but I couldn't. I was too afraid that something would break inside of me. I walked everywhere. I walked for miles and miles, hoping that my body would get tired and give up. It didn't. I couldn't keep food down. I started seeing a therapist. I told her everything. She listened to me without judgment. After I spoke, she asked me, "When was the happiest time of your life?" Confused, I answered, "I don't know." She pressed, "Think harder." I closed my eyes. When I was 8 years old and my dad carried me on his shoulders while we walked around the mall, I whispered. He would let me pick whatever I wanted to eat, and we would buy lots of it and bring it home. I opened my eyes and told her how my dad never scolded me when I ate too much. He would always say, "Food is love." I missed him. I missed being loved. The next day, I would purge everything out of my body by exercising or making myself throw up. I lost control of my life. All I could think about was food and calories. I gave up everything for thinness. I was lonely, depressed, and hungry all the time. Then one day I got pregnant. I found out I was pregnant by taking a test in the bathroom at work. I was terrified. The baby in my belly was another mouth to feed. I couldn't bear the thought of getting bigger. My boyfriend didn't want a baby. He had just graduated college and had big dreams. I was barely 19 years old. I felt so alone. My whole family showed up at my parents' house every Sunday for dinner. We were a loud bunch. Filipinos who liked to talk over each other, tell stories, and joke around. But that day, when everyone was gathered together, no one knew I was going through hell. They only saw a pregnant teenager holding a glass of water pretending to be drinking. "Are you sure you don't want some adobo?" My mom asked. I made extra. "No, thank you," I lied. I was too scared to eat anything. I didn't want them to see the jiggles of my uncovered belly. I hid behind my purse, under its protection, whispering lies. There were 8 of us for dinner. Everyone ate and talked except me, my boyfriend, and I did it ourselves. I woke up that night in a panic at home. I bled and cried. I hated my body. I hated myself. I became anorexic again. I cut out meat and bread and fruit. The therapist told me, "You have to find that joy again." I couldn't see it. I was too busy hating my body. I hated my skin. One day I decided to touch my stomach. I rubbed my fingers across the lines on my skin. That's when I realized it. My skin had stories to tell, stories of my past, my childhood, my family. Thank you.